train the AI brain. I mean, the perception, the algorithm, and the controlling together. It can enable different wheeled robots to see the world, understand the space.
This year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas left one question on many people's minds. When will the robots take over? Artificial intelligence was everywhere at the world's biggest tech and gadget show. You can now play ping pong with a robot or hire one as your personal assistant. A Chinese company even designed a robot that teaches children how to swim. So, is this the newest helpful tech of today or the new world order of tomorrow? Well, let's ask Ayesha Khanna. She's the CEO and co-founder of ADDO A-I, a leading artificial intelligence firm, and she joins us now from Singapore. Ayesha, good to have you on the Newsmakers. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety about AI.
Great to be here.
So what is it? Are we facing a scary future, or are there opportunities ahead and we're just being a little bit too negative about this?
Well, I think there's a lot of optimism around artificial intelligence. I run an artificial intelligence solutions firm, so I see every day the value that we bring by increasing automation, personalizing customer preferences, doing predictive maintenance, and also improving urbanization and smart cities. However, artificial intelligence, like any technology, is a double-edged sword. So if you don't, as human beings, take care that the security of the artificial intelligence algorithms or that any manipulation that can be done with them is not avoided, then of course it can lead us down to some dark paths as well.
Okay, so I've read a lot of Yuval Noah Harari and other people who have some very dark views of what might happen. Taking a panoramic view of this, are humans possibly going to be made obsolete because of the advent of AI, or might we develop into two types of humans, one type being gods and the other slaves?
Look, I think we need to move away a little bit from this science fiction scenarios and concentrate on the reality of AI today. Artificial intelligence today is very good at what we call narrow AI, which means that it can do two things very well. It can mine huge amounts of data, which human beings cannot, and therefore lend new kinds of insights, such as when a machine is going to fail, or such as what the preferences of a customer may be. Or it can automate a lot of routine tasks, such as customer service requests or manufacturing assembly lines. But it is nowhere at the point where we can say it is conscious or that it will be able to completely replace the human imagination, the human empathy, strategic thinking, or anything like that. Now, down the road, if one was to be very speculative, about a century down the road, one could imagine a scenario where parts of us are augmented through artificial intelligence. And in that sense, how we design AI today and the regulations that we put around it will determine if there will be a few big brother type players, or whether we will really achieve the promise of AI, which is to democratize access to services such as education and healthcare for the emerging middle class and poor around the world.
Right, and you talk about the emerging middle class and poor around the world. So setting aside the science fiction scenarios, as you requested, a lot of the collective anxiety revolves around people feeling or fearing mass unemployment, right? So practically speaking, what do we need to get good at in order to survive this uncertain future where AI might play a bigger role?
I think that's now a very good question. Everywhere I go, across Asia, Europe, or America, there is understandable fear that part of their job can be automated. And I think that fear is very valid. So the question then is, how can we adapt to the increasing automation of routine tasks? And the right way to do it is to educate oneself. So the way that we recommend in Singapore is, and the Singapore government is encouraging all its citizens to do some basic education in coding and to have an intuitive sense of how technology works for their domain. So for banking, for example, we know that over 30% of bankers perhaps will lose their job unless they pivot themselves to working in teams with fintech entrepreneurs, with artificial intelligence engineers, and developing data-driven financial solutions. So what we need to do is we need to learn how to collaborate with AI engineers, with data scientists, with technologists, and we need to be open to new kinds of innovations that are more data-driven than the jobs that we have right now. And this openness and adaptability will actually make us, I think, eternally marketable, because we will see disruption happening constantly in the coming decades.
You're closer to the technological developments than I am, than the rest of us are right now. What excites you about what's just ahead?
Okay, for me, the most exciting thing in Asia, and that's why you'll see in Asia, in ASEAN, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore, we are very optimistic of artificial intelligence because we are surrounded by problems of inefficiencies, of lack of access. And so the fact that you can get telemedicine and healthcare through Prudential and Babylon, which are two companies using AI-based doctors, or you can get better transportation through optimization of traffic and others, or smart city technologies, or that education can be made available and democratized to millions of people. This is what excites us. And this is the kinds of CEOs that we show are really able to make a difference in the population of these countries. So it's not some very sci-fi scenario. It's really almost a low-hanging fruit that with data and with artificial intelligence, we can unlock so much value from removing these inefficiencies and really give people access to the things that have unjustly been kept from them, which are basic services in cities.
So you're telling me not to worry too much about AI. How do I know you're a real person?
That's a good question. I'll tell you why it's a good question. Because at some point, you might not be able to tell. There are algorithms now where somebody could literally record 3 seconds of my voice or a couple of minutes of my video and be able to put it online, and you wouldn't know whether it's Ayesha or an avatar that's pretending to be me. That is why the governance is quite important. In countries like Singapore, we now have an ethics and governance committee around artificial intelligence. And I think that what we'll begin to see is more and more companies and activists coming forward and trying to build algorithms that can inspect other algorithms to make sure that we don't have this kind of manipulation. And that is a real danger.
Ayesha Khanna, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the Newsmakers.